Hi guys, welcome back, and we're now going to look at the rhythm side of this track, okay? And getting this chunky rhythm is a big part of the rock sound, okay? So first of all, let's just go through the basics, okay? We're in 16th notes with our rhythm, which basically means that we're going to count 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay? So the 16th note thing means that we can get a lot more kind of ghost notes in there, a lot more kind of, you know, that kind of sound where you're doing a lot more muted strings. So the 16th notes isn't just for funk players, it's also big in rock as well. So that's what we're using in terms of counting, okay? And then of course, we're just using the first 3 chords to get the main rhythm pattern. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna play it through for you with the rock on, okay? Nice and slow. So it'll sound like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And then it will start all over again. So that's one time round, okay? So what we're doing, let's just break it down, okay? So on the A, we're gonna go like this. Here's my count. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay? So we hit the 1, we hit the 2, and then we're gonna then hit the next downstroke after that with a crunch, which simply means that we don't push down the chord anymore, and an immediate upstroke when we're pushing down again. So in terms of counting it, we get this. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay? So try and actually count that with me, guys, if you can. 1 E and a 2 E and a. The reason I like to get my students counting is because it encourages them to move the right arm consistently. Okay, that's a really big part of being able to get all these ghost notes and being able to apply this to pretty much any genre that you play, not just rock. It can be funk, blues, jazz, whatever you're doing. The kind of movement of the right arm helps you tackle any time signature at any speed. Okay, so try and do it. Now, once we've done the A, 1 E and a 2 E and a, we're then going to go 3 E. So we're going to get this next upstroke as a dead note, and then the G. Okay? So together it sounds like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and. Okay? Again. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and. Okay? Again. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and. Okay, it's a little bit fiddly, but keep trying it. Okay, then we're just going to go down to the F sharp at the end. Okay, and that will be on an upstroke. I'll just walk you through it. I'll count you through it. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so let's stop doing it so slow. Let's start to speed it up. That's the kind of basics, getting the arm moving, getting the hits in the right place. But if we now try it with a drum beat, okay? So I'm going to deliberately use on my amazing looping station and drum machine, I'm going to use the 16th note pattern. And it wouldn't be a typical kind of Guns N' Roses style pattern, drum beat, but it will just allow us to hear the kind of what our right arm should be doing. I'll show you what I mean. So there's the pattern, okay? And you hear that cymbal, sorry, that hi-hat, it's going to sound like this with the right arm. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. So that's what we should be moving along, that kind of movement with the right hand, okay? So let me play you through the pattern, okay? It's going to sound like this. I'm going to come in after 4. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. So hopefully as you start to hear it in a bit more speed, it starts to come together. But you see, the way I bring it together is by making sure that my right hand's moving and I've got used to where to hit the down and up strokes at a slower speed, and it should just about come together. It is fiddly, guys, and I think for a lot of kind of lead players, this bit is where they're really going to fall up. You know, this is kind of tricky stuff for anyone that's a lead player. But believe me, if you try and break it down like this, it's going to really help your lead playing, because it's going to inevitably make your lead playing more rhythmical, and that's where you really get into the world of some of the best guitarists. You know, the guys that can play and make it sing without any backing track or anything else. The lead and the rhythm is together and it's within them. So you hear with a lot of Slash's licks that they're very rhythmical, and that's because he's so good at the rhythm side of it as well. So I'm just going to do that one more time at that speed with the distortion, and it's going to sound like this. It's yours to get together, okay? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Do it 3 times, and then you just go to 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, and then you're going to repeat it all over again. So there you have it, guys. Get that together, and next time we'll look at the key change.